Hello! How do we normalise reality? Why do we normalise reality? What is reality? So what is it that we're renormalising? The most common thing that scientists renormalise is infinity. It's found in equations, lots of equations. Infinity appears in the standard mathematical model of the atom when you add gravity to the equation. This is a bit of a conundrum that hasn't really been resolved, and although I've asked scientists about it, nobody seems to be able to come up with an answer as to why that's so. But renormalisation is a very common thing, and we tend to do it a lot in the course of daily life. So since infinity came up as the first port of call here, I'm just going to write it down with a question mark against it, because it seems to be questionable as to whether renormalisation of infinity is a good thing to do if we want to progress our knowledge of reality. When you come down to it, you and I both know that our individual perception of what constitutes reality is unique to us. Nobody else shares it, even if they're in the same room. Nobody else shares our perspective exactly on anything at all. So the uniqueness, big factor in our perception of things, is paramount. Uniqueness follows the trail everywhere throughout nature. Everything that we see is unique. Everything. All natural things, even inanimate things, even objects. So there may be millions and millions of pairs of glasses produced, but atomically they will all be slightly different from each other. So uniqueness itself seems to be a law. Can we renormalise uniqueness? Fair to say that in some quarters it's attempted. Media tries very hard to make us believe that that things are either normal or not. We're either woke or we're asleep. We won't go into that argument. It's a deep one. But at the end of the day, we want to preserve the things that are critically important to the way we lead our lives. And these two things, infinity and uniqueness, are both critical to the way we perceive our existence. If we were to consider our moment by moment existence to be normal, then we would have to put a parameter on that relates to somebody else's version of normal. And of course, everybody else's version of what is different to everybody else's, hence uniqueness. So at the end of the day, can renormalising reality be a practical solution? Are we, in fact, by renormalising or normalising anything, diverging ourselves away from the crux of the actual laws that matter, the bedrock of our reality system, in other words? Because infinities do exist. They exist in equations and they exist in real life. These loop systems, which represent oscillations of those particles that oscillate, most famously neutrinos and quarks oscillate, if they're doubled, and we know that every particle has its antiparticle, every particle has an entangled partner potentially, then you will see that the infinity loop is created by that representation. Everything that can be extracted as information has to be translated in some way. So the practicality of this question is fundamental. Do we want to renormalise reality, or do we want to find out what reality really is?